Hello and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles.
Dear listeners, before we get started, drop a quick hi in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. Also, if you have any suggestions for us to make the channel better, please let us know. Now let's start with the story. She told her boss, "My boyfriend pays all my bills while I sleep with you. It's perfect. Yeah, perfect." His secretary heard and told his wife. I found out when his wife called me, basically shrieking through the phone like she was reading off a bad soap opera script. Madeline got fired, lost our apartment, and had to crawl back to her ex-roommate's place. 3 months ago, I, Jacob, 28, male, allegedly intelligent, was living with my girlfriend of 4 years, Madeline. Today, she's sleeping on an air mattress in someone else's living room, and I'm in a new apartment that has an honest-to-God view of something other than a rusty dumpster. Progress, people. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Madeline and I met at a friend's birthday party. I swear, she was magnetic, charming, ambitious, worked in marketing at some shiny tech startup. She had this unstoppable confidence, like she could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. Naturally, I fell for it. Hook, line, sinker, the whole fishing boat. 2 years in, we moved in together. We split the rent on a decent one-bedroom downtown. I mean, decent, if you ignored the occasional roach rave in the hallway. But hey, it was home. Life felt good. At least, I thought it was. Then, the first red flag, or, as I like to call it, the Jacob, you absolute idiot moment, came about 6 months ago. Madeline went from junior marketing associate to senior account manager basically overnight. Poof. Just like a fairy godmother had waved a Chanel-scented wand. No interview. No memo. No. Hey, by the way, I'm climbing the corporate ladder at breakneck speed. Just a fat pay bump, and suddenly working directly under the VP of sales, Damien Chong. I'm talking directly under him. Wink wink. "Baby, this is huge for us," she squealed, popping the only bottle of champagne in the fridge, the one I'd bought for our anniversary, mind you. The week before. I remember raising my eyebrow, and she was already drunk on bubbles and ambition. "Damien says I have real potential," she said, practically swooning. "He's going to mentor me personally." Personally, huh? I should have known. I mean, my gut was screaming, dude, she's getting mentored all right. But of course, I clapped like a trained seal. I was proud of her. What a catch, right? Then came the late nights. The client dinners, the strategy sessions, the networking events, always with Damien. Always after midnight. She'd roll in smelling like some $400 cologne Damien probably doused himself in to cover the stench of moral bankruptcy. The entire bedroom would reek of it. One night, I tried to call it out. "Hey, you smell like a duty-free store exploded on you," I said. She gave me a look, the kind you'd give a cockroach on the bathroom floor. "You're being paranoid," she said, smoothing her hair like some corporate princess. "This is how you advance in corporate. You wouldn't understand." Well, sure, I wouldn't. See, I work in IT infrastructure. Not glamorous. No wine-soaked networking events. No mentoring on the side. But it pays the bills. Well enough, in fact, that when Madeline started hinting, scratch that, nagging, that I should cover more of our expenses so she could invest in a more executive wardrobe, I fell for it. Again, executive wardrobe, huh? Should have known executive meant Damien's mistress starter pack. So, like the world's biggest chump, I agreed. Before long, I was paying our full rent, utilities, and her car payment. She covered groceries sometimes. Wow, groceries. Truly the height of generosity, right? Queen Madeline, patron saint of buying the occasional bag of spinach so I wouldn't starve. But anyway, the turning point came on a Tuesday. Tuesdays, man, they're cursed. I'd taken a half day for a dentist appointment that got canceled at the last minute. Lucky me, free afternoon with a mouth still intact. But also a gut that had been screaming at me for weeks, like some half-baked Greek chorus chanting, "She's cheating on you, bro." So I decided to do the unthinkable. The kind of bold, sitcom-level move I had never even considered before. I went to her office to surprise her with lunch. Like a supportive boyfriend. Like a doofus. The receptionist knew me, even waved all friendly. "Hey, Jacob, good to see you. Don't mind the giant clown nose on your face." I headed back toward Madeline's section, humming to myself, carrying some overpriced sandwiches. That's when I saw Damien's office. Door shut. Voices inside. I paused. I couldn't catch the words, but I sure as hell recognized the tone. Soft. Intimate. That purr in her laugh. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard directed at me since Game of Thrones ended. I stood there for a good minute, feeling like I'd just been hit by a bus. A really humiliating, cheating-shaped bus. Then the door opened, and there they were. Madeline and Damien. She was smiling, lit up in a way I hadn't seen in forever, while Damien's hand just casually found its place on the small of her back like it had been there 1,000 times before. The audacity. The absolute corporate mentorship of it all. They walked past me, so wrapped up in their special strategy session, they didn't even see me. Not a glance. Nothing. I could have been a damn potted plant. I felt the sandwich bag crinkle in my hand, like the universe was mocking me. So I did what any self-respecting, humiliated IT guy would do. I backed away slowly, hit the elevator button with all the dignity I could muster, and went home. That night, she waltzed in around 11 p.m., all breezy. Oh my God, she sighed, dropping her purse like a queen. Tonight was brutal. Strategy session went on forever. I almost laughed. I swear I almost did. She looked up from her phone for half a second. How was your day? Fine, I said. Quiet. She didn't even bother to look up. Just kept scrolling, probably texting Captain Mentorship about the next strategy session. The rest of that week, I was basically living in a fog. My brain was stuck on a loop, replaying the image of Damien's hand on her back, like some horror movie jump scare. And then I started noticing things I'd ignored for way too long. Like how she'd always angle her phone away when texting, as if I might accidentally see something other than client updates. Then there was the shower thing. Like clockwork, the second she walked in the door, she'd bolt straight to the bathroom. No hug, no hey honey, just whoosh gone. Honestly, I started to wonder if she was trying to wash the sin off before I could smell it. And the physical contact? Forget it. She'd stopped even touching me months ago. I could have grown a third arm, and she wouldn't have noticed. Then came the Wednesday call. Unknown number. Normally I'd let that rot in voicemail hell, but something told me to pick up. Is this Jacob Turner? The voice was calm, but cold, like a surgeon about to remove a tumor. Yeah? This is Naomi Chong, Damien Chang's wife. I think we need to talk about your girlfriend and my husband. Oh boy. My stomach did a free fall worthy of an amusement park. I'm listening. I croaked, because what the hell else do you say to that? Naomi did not waste time. My husband's secretary, Paige, has been aware of some unprofessional behavior. Yesterday, she came to me directly. My couch had never felt so hostile. I sank into it, basically a human puddle. What kind of arrangement? I asked, already regretting the question. She didn't even flinch. The kind where, and I quote, my boyfriend pays all my bills while I get to have fun with you. It's literally perfect. Literal. Perfection. Gotta love that. Paige was disgusted. Naomi went on, crisp as a court filing. She felt you should know, and she felt I should know. Silence. Then, the kind that felt like a building was about to collapse. She's been careless for a while. Naomi continued, voice so even it was scary. I've had my own suspicions, but this is the proof I needed. I was still trying to get my heartbeat under control when she suggested we meet up. Next thing I knew, I was at a coffee shop downtown, clinging to a watery latte like it was a life preserver. Naomi Chong was exactly what you'd expect from a corporate lawyer married to a tech exec. Polished to the point of bulletproof. Calm, collected, but under that, you could practically see the rage crackling like static electricity. She didn't walk in with a big dramatic folder of evidence. Oh no, this woman was building her case in real time. Like a Netflix true crime episode, live and unscripted. We sat down, and I spilled everything. The late nights, the cologne, the mystery promotions, how my bank account had become a Madeline subsidy program. Naomi listened, nodding surgically. Then she pulled out her phone and scrolled, showing me screenshots of company credit card statements, restaurant charges disguised as client entertainment, hotel rooms labeled team building retreats. Damien's been doing this for years, she said. Cool as ice. Different women, always subordinates. I've been gathering what I can for my divorce attorney, waiting for something concrete. Your girlfriend and his secretary just handed it to me on a silver platter. I swallowed. Hard. What do you need from me? She smiled. It wasn't pleasant. Naomi gave me that lawyerly, lethal smile. The kind you see in a courtroom drama right before the opposing counsel pees their pants. Nothing I can't get myself, she said smoothly. But I thought you should know what's coming. Oh, great, I thought. Just a casual apocalypse heads up. Damien's going to be fired, she went on, as if she was reading tomorrow's weather forecast. His reputation? Destroyed. And Madeline? She's going down with him. Well, I thought, finally some good news. She continued, and it was glorious. You know how consensual relationships between executives and direct reports violate company policy? The fact that he fast-tracked her promotion, gave her raises, approved those inflated bonuses, textbook quid pro quo. Textbook indeed. Too bad Madeline never cracked a book. Naomi sipped her latte like a woman about to personally burn down a Fortune 500. I'm meeting with the CEO and general counsel tomorrow. This will trigger an internal investigation. Might take a week or two, but trust me, they're finished here. She was right. The next 2 weeks were me living in a weird undercover spy drama. I slept on the couch, acted like nothing was wrong while Madeline kept whining about a hostile work environment. Then the meltdown finally happened. Madeline came home looking like a raccoon who lost a bar fight, mascara streaked, hair in a tornado. She flung herself on the couch dramatically, right next to me, almost crushing my leftover chips. They suspended us, she wailed, like she'd been wrongly accused of murder. Both of us. Pending investigation. I paused The Office on Netflix. Jim's blank stare felt way too relatable at that moment. What exactly did they say? I asked, trying to keep a straight face. She threw her hands up. Something about inappropriate relationships and policy violations. It's such crap. We were consenting adults. Oh, consenting. Lovely. So, I deadpanned. You were sleeping with him. She froze. Mid-sob, eyes darting like a raccoon caught in the trash. It's not what you think, she started, voice shifting gears so fast it was practically a Formula One car. I cut her off, because I was done, because I think you were having an affair with your married boss while I paid all your bills. Her face went so white I thought she might actually faint. Who told you that? She hissed, suddenly all suspicion and no tears. Doesn't matter, I said, calm as an IT guy installing a Windows update. What matters is that you need to leave. Her jaw dropped. You're kicking me out? I'm about to lose my job. No, Madeline. I explained, with the patience of a preschool teacher. You're losing your job because you were sleeping with your boss. You're losing your apartment because you cheated on me. See the difference? She tried everything. First the tears, then yelling, then batting her eyelashes like we were still in a rom-com. Even threatened to sue me for illegal eviction. Go ahead, I told her. I'm sure a lawyer would love to hear how you can't afford rent because you lost the job where you were exchanging sex for promotions. That shut her up. She left that night, stayed with a friend, then came back the next day with her brother to collect her stuff. Box after box, like the world's worst yard sale. One last try, of course. She clutched a cardboard box like it was a newborn puppy, giving me those big, wounded eyes. You're really going to throw away 4 years? She asked, pure heartbreak theater. I didn't even blink. I didn't throw away anything. You did. Every night you came home smelling like another man's cologne. I told her, just to twist the knife of honesty one more time. Her brother Mike, who'd come along to help her move her stuff, had the decency to look like he'd rather crawl into a sewer than stand there. At least one person in that family had a sense of shame. Come on, Mr. Let's go, Mike mumbled, trying to herd her toward the door. Madeline clutched her box dramatically, glaring at me like I'd personally drop-kicked her puppy. This isn't over, she hissed. Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night, princess. But it was over. For me, anyway. My life now had changes, like a tragic operating system patch. Remember how she threatened it wasn't over? Oh, she meant that. Once she was officially fired the following week, the switch flipped. You could practically hear it. First came the desperation. Then came the chaos. Fraud alerts started lighting up my phone like a slot machine on fire. Cards I didn't even know existed were showing up with balances in my name. Turns out giving someone your personal info for 4 years makes them fully equipped to commit identity theft. Lucky me. She had everything, my social security number, my mother's maiden name, probably even my childhood pet's favorite snack. And this wasn't some long con art heist. Nope. This was a panicked, petty, vengeful meltdown. Like a raccoon tearing apart the trash cans because it couldn't get the last slice of pizza. I spent days, literal days, on the phone filing reports, freezing my credit, trying to salvage my financial dignity. Total damage? Almost $30,000 across 6 fraudulent cards. Then she decided to go for the social reputation kill shot. Suddenly, all our mutual friends started getting these tragic texts. I was abusive, controlling, a monster who threw her out on the street after sabotaging her career. A Disney villain, basically. Of course, she left out the minor detail of, sleeping with her boss while I paid the rent. Savannah, one of our mutual friends, sent me screenshots. Just thought you should see what she's saying, she wrote. Savannah added, bless her soul, for what it's worth, nobody who actually knows you believes this crap. But some people did. Guys I'd known since college, who apparently had the loyalty of a wet paper towel, chose to buy her sob story. That stung more than I expected. Meanwhile, Madeline was still blowing up my phone daily, begging for another chance 1 minute, threatening to ruin me the next. The greatest hits. You ruined my life, one text whined. I responded, deadpan. Damien's wife took everything in the divorce. He can't even help me now. Her reply was absolutely priceless. He wasn't my boyfriend. God, you're so jealous and insecure. This is why I had to find comfort elsewhere. I stopped responding after that last text, the one where she blamed my jealousy for her sleeping with her married boss. There was just nothing left to say. Meanwhile, there was the apartment disaster. Because fate loves kicking a man while he's down, right? We'd both been on the lease, which still had a solid 6 months left. I could afford it on my own, technically, but that was about it. The thought of eating ramen for the next half year was not exactly thrilling. So I started hunting for a new place, one with my name alone on the lease. Thank you very much. Then the landlord called. Never a good sign. Jacob, he started, and my stomach instantly sank. I need to talk to you about Madeline. Oh, come on. Seriously? What now? I sighed. She came by yesterday trying to get a key. He explained, sounding about as enthused as a dentist pulling a tooth. Said she was still on the lease and had rights to the apartment. Of course she did. And when I refused, he continued, she made some allegations. I took a deep breath. What kind of allegations? He hesitated. That you were holding her belongings hostage. That you changed the locks illegally. She threatened to sue me for enabling an illegal eviction. You could practically hear my eye twitch over the phone. Look, I told him, I can send you screenshots. She admitted to the affair. She agreed to move out. She's trying to stir the pot. He sighed. I like you, Jacob. You've been a good tenant. But I can't have this drama in the building. If you want to stay, you need to get her off the lease. Otherwise, I'm not renewing. Which was, of course, easier than launching a rocket to Mars. Getting someone off a lease who doesn't want to leave? Practically impossible. Unless I called Naomi Chong. She answered on the first ring, cool and composed, like she'd been waiting to unleash more corporate lawyer magic. Jacob, how are you holding up? I let out a bitter laugh. Not great. Madeline's making things difficult. Tell me, she said, in that lawyer tone that's half therapist, half executioner. So I explained the landlord drama, the lease nonsense, the allegations, the whole messy circus. She listened, and then, in the calmest voice on the planet, delivered the absolute magic. I might be able to help. Music to my ears. Turns out Naomi had found more evidence while digging through Discovery for her divorce. Apparently Madeline hadn't just been a workplace homewrecker. She was also a financial parasite. Company credit card receipts for client dinners, where the clients were literally in different cities. Spa treatments filed under team building. Like, please, you couldn't even try to hide it? It's corporate fraud, Naomi said, voice sharp as a guillotine. The company could press charges. They probably won't, bad publicity. But Madeline doesn't know that. I blinked. What are you suggesting? She didn't even hesitate. I'm suggesting that Madeline might be more cooperative if she understood the full scope of her situation. I wasn't proud of what happened next, but I was tired. Tired of being the nice guy. Tired. That was me. Tired of taking the high road while she tried to bulldoze me into the dirt. Tired of trying to be the nice guy while she set fire to my credit, my lease, and my entire social circle. So yeah, I got a lawyer. Fun fact, lawyers are expensive, but cheaper than letting your life burn down completely. My lawyer contacted her lawyer, laid everything out like a buffet of bad choices. The company credit card fraud, the identity theft, the spa days filed as team building. Thanks to Naomi's digging. Made it crystal clear that if Madeline didn't get off the lease, I'd pursue criminal charges with bells on. Magically, she signed off the lease the next day. Shocking, I know. I thought I was free. Finally, Madeline was off the lease. I'd found a new place. The credit card hellscape was slowly getting resolved, and I was even dipping my toes back into the dating pool. Nothing major, just coffee meetups with women who didn't see me as their personal ATM and doormat. And then, because my life is apparently scripted by a sadistic sitcom writer, Damien Chong showed up. At my office. Thursday afternoon. Receptionist buzzed me, sounding genuinely puzzled. Jacob, there's a Damien Chong here to see you. Says it's personal. I should have told her to launch him out the window. But curiosity? Curiosity is a jerk. Fine, I said. He looked rough. Gone was the slick power suit, replaced by jeans and a faded polo that screamed I used to have money, but the divorce took everything. The once proud corporate wolf had been demoted to sad, mangy dog. I led him to a conference room. 5 minutes, I said, crossing my arms. I know you hate me, he started, eyes practically bleeding regret. Good instinct, I shot back. He actually nodded. I deserve that. I deserve worse, honestly, but I need your help. I barked out a laugh so hard I nearly gave myself a hernia. You need my help? Oh, that's rich. He winced. It's Madeline. He paused, swallowed, then said it. She's blackmailing me now. That made me pause. This was new. Okay. I sighed. You've got my attention. Explain. And out it all tumbled. Damien was basically word vomiting. After they'd both been fired, after Naomi had eviscerated him in divorce court and took him for everything except maybe the socks on his feet, Madeline had continued to contact him. At first, Damien said he'd honestly thought Madeline wanted to get back together, which, in any other universe, would be tragic and hilarious enough. But no, of course not. She recorded us, he croaked, looking like he might puke on my conference table. Videos, audio, everything. I blinked. Everything. He nodded, miserable. Says if I don't pay her 50 grand, she'll release them. Post them everywhere. Send them to every company that might consider hiring me. I let out a stunned laugh. And you're telling me this why? He gulped like a fish out of water. Because she's probably doing the same to you. Or she will once she's done with me. I leaned back in my chair, trying to process the absolute soap opera my life had become. I never slept with her after I found out. I told him, slowly, like he was 5. There's nothing to record after. His eyes darted away. But before? When you were together? Did she ever? He didn't finish. Didn't have to. And then my blood ran cold. There had been moments. Early in our relationship. Times when she'd gotten weirdly enthusiastic about certain positions, with her phone just happening to be pointed right at us on the nightstand. I'd chalked it up to her being a social media-obsessed millennial. Christ. Even if she does, I said, swallowing hard. That's sharing private content without consent. It's illegal. Damien gave me a look like I'd just handed him a stale fortune cookie. Only if you can prove she posted it. She's not stupid, Jacob. She'll use VPNs, fake accounts. By the time you track it down, the damage is done. God help me, he was right. And I hated that he was right. What do you want from me? I asked, exasperated. He leaned forward, desperate. Work together. Pool resources. Take her down before she takes us down. I stared at him. This was the same guy who'd boinked my girlfriend, trashed my relationship, and now he wanted to form a buddy cop revenge task force? Get out, Damien, I finally sighed. Get out. He slunk away, looking like a sad puppy who'd rolled in motor oil. But the seed? Oh, it was planted. That night, I went through every device I owned. Checked cloud backups I hadn't touched in years. Nothing conclusive, but gaps. Enough to leave me sweating. I called Naomi. Because of course I did. Naomi and I had developed this weird, unspoken friendship, forged in the fires of mutual betrayal. Nothing bonds two people like discovering their partners are trash, right? She's escalating, Naomi told me after I explained. Calm, clinical, terrifyingly composed. Classic narcissistic collapse. Lost her job, her home, her financial support. Now she's lashing out, Naomi explained, in that calm, murderously efficient lawyer voice of hers. I pinched the bridge of my nose. What do I do? Her answer was instant. Document everything. Every text, every email, every interaction. And Jacob, yeah, it might be time, she said, with that terrifying lawyerly serenity, to be proactive rather than reactive. I blinked, meaning she didn't miss a beat, meaning maybe we help Madeline understand that mutually assured destruction goes both ways, which, honestly, was the most comforting phrase I'd heard in months. The plan was simple. Madeline had been acting like she was the only one with nukes, but she'd underestimated the amount of ammo Naomi and I had quietly stockpiled. Divorce evidence, corporate credit card fraud, Paige's testimony about the boss-banging fiesta. I had my lawyer draft the most glorious cease and desist letter ever to exist. Not just a simple leave me alone, but a specific warning about sharing any private content, which, in legal terms, refers to sensitive material, and yes, that's a serious crime. We even made sure to spell out exactly what would happen if she tried to go nuclear. Immediate criminal charges for unauthorized sharing of private information, plus civil lawsuits for identity theft, credit fraud, and defamation. The final blow? Paige. Turns out Paige had been hoarding receipts on Damien for years, not just Madeline, but every woman he'd ever tried to mentor. She'd kept quiet out of fear of losing her job, but now that Damien had been punted out of corporate America, she was ready to talk. We met up with Paige over coffee, and she practically unloaded a career's worth of gossip meets evidence. I have emails, she said, cool as you please, stirring her latte. Damien bragging to other execs about his conquests, including, details about Madeline that, well, let's just say they paint a very different picture than the one she's trying to sell. Yeah, I thought, she's gonna love that. We packaged all that up in a tidy letter, with a polite but terrifying summary of what Paige was prepared to testify to. The message was clear. Madeline, if you want to play Scorched Earth, we can play Scorched Earth, too. 2 days later, I got a reply. Not from Madeline, naturally, but from her lawyer. A negotiated surrender, basically. She'd drop every claim, cease all contact, and agree to destroy any recordings if we agreed not to go after her for fraud or press criminal charges. Naomi's advice was quick and ruthless. Take the deal, she told me. You want this over, not prolonged. And she was right. I wanted my life back. So I signed. It's been 3 months since then. 3 months of glorious, blessed Madeline-free silence. Here's where everybody landed. Last I heard, Damien was working as a consultant, which is corporate code for unemployed executive. Naomi, meanwhile, had walked away with the house, most of the assets, and full custody of their kids. Damien? He was living in a tiny studio apartment, probably still sitting on a folding chair wondering how his perfect life spontaneously combusted. I had about zero sympathy, maybe even negative sympathy. Paige, on the other hand, was killing it. She landed a job as an executive assistant at a Fortune 500 company, with a 40% raise and a boss who, shocker, actually respected her. She even sent me a thank you card last month. Thanks for giving me the courage to speak up. If I'd had confetti, I would have thrown it in her honor. Naomi herself was thriving, too. The way she'd handled her divorce, and let's be real, the spectacular corporate meltdown, got her so much professional attention she made partner at her firm. She deserved it. We still grabbed coffee every so often, which was about as close to therapy as I could afford. She was even dating again, a pediatrician, no less. She'd joked, he doesn't even have a secretary. It's bliss. And then there was Madeline. Oh, this is where it gets delicious. Remember how she ended up moving back in with her ex-roommate? That ex-roommate was named Becky, and my friend Savannah just so happened to work at the same coffee shop where Becky was a regular. Small world, smaller city, apparently. Last week, Savannah texted me, basically on the verge of scream laughing. She'd overheard Becky on the phone, complaining about her nightmare roommate situation. Apparently, 2 months ago, Madeline showed up at Becky's door with the best sob story on earth. How her evil ex-boyfriend, meaning yours truly, had sabotaged her shining corporate career out of nothing but petty jealousy. Becky, being a decent human with, unfortunately, too much empathy, let her crash for a few days. Yeah, sure. 2 months later, Madeline was still there, hadn't paid a dime, and, plot twist, had just gotten fired from her new job, a marketing gig at a small firm. Apparently she'd gotten that job by lying about why she left the previous one. Class act, through and through. But wait, there's more. Savannah, absolutely cackling as she relayed this, told me Madeline kept bringing random guys home and acting like she owned the place. Becky, on the phone, was basically at her wit's end, ranting that Madeline had been telling people it was her apartment and that Becky was the one sleeping on the couch. I'm going to have to evict her. Savannah had texted me after overhearing Becky's meltdown about Madeline. Of course, the cycle just rolls on, except this time, it's someone else's life she's detonating. As for me, I'm good. Better than good, actually. The new apartment is smaller, but it's mine. All mine. No lingering smell of overpriced men's cologne. No mystery bank statements from team-building massages. No coming home to an empty bed and a wall of lies. And, yeah, I started seeing someone new last month. Ava. She's a nurse. Tough as nails and gentle as a kitten at the same time. She called cheating emotional terrorism on our second date. I actually spit out my drink from laughing, then realized, wow, that's not wrong at all. I'm not disagreeing with her, by the way. The trust issues are there, though. Can't lie about it. I check my credit report like a man possessed. I get twitchy about sharing passwords. When Ava works late-night shifts, there's a little voice in my head that tries to stir up suspicion. It's not fair to her, and I know it. I'm working on it. Therapy helps. And no, that's not me being sarcastic for once. Therapy actually helps. Last week, I ran into Mike, Madeline's brother, in the produce aisle of all places. Bananas and heartbreak, what a combo. Hey, man. He started, shifting from foot to foot like he'd rather be anywhere else. I raised my brows. Hey. He sighed, refusing to meet my eyes. Look, about my sister. I know she put you through hell. Just yeah. I waited. Let him squirm. It's okay, man, I finally said, just to end the silence. It's not, he mumbled, finally glancing up. For what it's worth, she's on her own now. My parents cut her off. They're done. That one surprised me. What happened? I asked, honestly curious at this point. He shook his head, the weight of it basically caving in his shoulders. The thing with our grandmother, he muttered. Grandma asked her to deposit a check. Madeline put it straight into her own account. Tried to claim it was a misunderstanding. It was the last straw. Yikes. We parted with the most awkward handshake ever invented. There was no big apology, no big reconciliation, just a silent agreement that, hey, his sister was basically a hurricane with pretty hair, and we'd both survived her. I wish I could say there was some neat Disney movie ending to all this. That Madeline learned a life lesson, that Damien showed up on bended knee begging forgiveness, that I had a glorious moment of cinematic vindication. But life's way messier than that. What I got instead was freedom. Freedom from someone who saw me as nothing more than a wallet with a heartbeat. Freedom from a daily marathon of lies and manipulation. Freedom to rebuild my own life on my own terms. The credit's mostly repaired. The friend group? Yeah, it's split right down the middle for a while. People choosing sides, rumors swirling, group chats imploding, but it's stabilizing now. A couple folks even apologized for believing Madeline's nonsense in the first place, which was refreshing, if a little late. Therapy? Still going. Still awkward. But it's helping. I can talk about trust without clenching my teeth, which feels like progress. And Madeline? She's someone else's problem now. Namely Becky's problem, though I'm guessing that lease agreement is on the clock. Sometimes the best revenge isn't a soap opera-worthy plot twist or elaborate scheme. Sometimes the best revenge is nothing at all. Just stepping back and letting a person face the natural consequences of their own trash fire choices. She lost her job. She lost her apartment. She lost the relationship. She lost her shiny reputation. And I didn't even have to lift a finger to ruin her. Because when you build your life on a rickety scaffolding of lies, betrayal, and networking with your boss's belt off, eventually the whole thing comes crashing down by itself. Would I do anything differently? Maybe. I probably should have trusted my gut earlier. Definitely should have side-eyed that overnight promotion a lot harder. But you live, you learn, you get a credit monitoring subscription for life. And hey, if you're reading this and seeing a mirror of your own relationship in mine, the late nights, the wine and cologne stench, the deflection when you ask normal questions, trust your instincts. Don't wait for a random stranger's spouse to call you up with the final receipts. And if you're a Madeline reading this, well, good luck with that. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.